All right, I think we'll get started. Can everyone see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, well, thank you again for joining us. Just a quick introduction. My name is Ben Briggs. I am a study abroad advisor here at UNC, been here for about 4.5 years. I have sent many exercise sports science students abroad, many of them on Dr. Malakoff's program, which we're going to talk about briefly, but I'm really happy to just give you a brief presentation today about some opportunities abroad for exercise sports science majors. So in terms of this presentation, I really honestly don't expect it to last much more than 30 minutes, and there will be a period for questions at the end as well. So if you don't mind just hanging on to your questions, we'll be able to handle all those at the end. Just really briefly to talk about the benefits of studying abroad as an exercise sports science major. First of all, it allows you to gain real world experience tied to your career path. I think both of the faculty-led programs that we're going to briefly discuss today are good examples of that. It really does also allow you to develop cross-cultural competence. You have no idea how important your experience is abroad until you come home, and then you're years later and you're like, oh, that was incredibly valuable. To live in another country, to be challenged, to see how they do things on a professional, academic, personal level is really, really important. And I think you'd find value in that. And then finally, yeah, building new skills. On some of the programs that we offer exercise sports science coursework, you really will have the opportunity to take advantage of really, really great coursework, really great faculty, and those will lead you to developing new skills that you'll be able to apply back to your job when you return back to the States. To get started, I thought it would be a really great idea to just talk a little bit about some of the recommended programs that we have here at UNC Chapel Hill for exercise sports science majors. So without further ado, I'd like to start with this first program, UNC International Sport Management in London, and introduce you to Robert Malakoff, who will be leading that program.
Thanks, Ben. Hello, everyone. I'm just going to give a quick 2-minute overview here of the course and the trip. Really quickly, I won't be staying on the entire meeting today, but my email, I can be reached, is rmalakoff, RMALEKOF @email.unc.edu. If you have any trouble with that whatsoever, Ben can help you out. I actually retired from Carolina last spring, but I was supposed to lead this trip last year when, as we all know, the whole world kind of turned upside down. So I'm kind of doing this as my last go round as a UNC faculty member. The first thing I want to just say from a practical standpoint, if you are a sport administration EXSS major, this course does fulfill a requirement. Some of you may know that there are 2 electives required. One is 200 level or above, and this course will fulfill that requirement. But it is certainly open to anyone in EXSS or really anyone beyond. And we're hoping to have a group of people from a lot of different backgrounds, both geographically and academically. Very quickly, really what we're going to focus our studies on are sports systems, both amateur and professional. In Europe, really, we'll probably focus mostly on Western Europe, and since we're going to be based in London, we'll really look there for most of our experiences. Just quickly, 3-week Maymester course. I think we have about 8 or 9 actual class days scheduled. So a typical class day would be from about 8:30 till noon. I certainly don't anticipate talking at you for that amount of time. So it would be a combination of lecture, discussion. As we speak now, I'm actually working on guests from London. So I'm really going to try to mix that up as much as we can. So I think we'll make those sessions as lively and useful as we can. In addition to our classroom sessions, we have 5 or 6 site visits planned, places like Wimbledon, English Premier League stadiums, the Olympic Park, London hosted the Olympics in 2012. And just so you understand, these aren't just we show up and walk around and, you know, kind of take off. All of these sites happily have curriculums designed for people to visit, you know, people who are interested in working in sports. So there's a real rhyme and reason to these trips. In addition, you know, let's say it's a class day that ends at noon or 12:30. I plan on traveling quite a bit in London and throughout. And certainly while it won't be a requirement, you know, students are going to be more than welcome to come along with me. In some cases, these won't be athletic sites we're visiting, but in some cases they will if they're places that we think would be of interest, but they're not on our class schedule curriculum. We'll do some of that as well. So I really, you know, one of my big visions for this experience is for everyone to get as much as possible in learning about London and the area beyond that's accessible to us. So, you know, we're really going to try to squeeze a lot into those 3 weeks. I am really, really excited about this trip. And again, if you have specific questions beyond, you know, the logistics of applying and all that, which I'm sure Ben's going to go over here probably a little bit, please feel free to reach out to me again, rmalekof@email.unc.edu. If you have any trouble whatsoever reaching me, Ben can direct you. Okay. I think that's it, Ben.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Bob. Really appreciate it. And that email address is right on our program brochure page as well. So really easy to find for y'all. Next, I also was able to wrangle a faculty member from our Cultural Innovation in Sport in Spain program. With us, we have Abel Munoz Hermoso, who would be happy to just share a little bit of information about this program in Spain.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Ben. This program that we're going to have in Barcelona, well, Barcelona and Madrid, I'll explain about that in a moment. We will be offering 2 courses. Okay, one from the sports science department, and another one from ROMS, which is where I come from. So my course, which is what the one I'll be talking about now, it's intended for all of you going to be living in Spain for 6 weeks to get a better understanding of what sports mean for the Spanish society. With a concentration on soccer, of course, we will be exploring the history of sport in Spain, how soccer came to Spain from the UK, for example, and how it developed into what it is right now, that I'm sure many of you might follow every weekend on TV, the games and everything. So we will study the role of sport in Spanish society, not just as something that you might be watching on TV or playing for a team, but also I'll be talking about healthy habits, for example, and what nutrition, you know, what the role of nutrition in Spanish society. The Mediterranean diet, for example, might be one of the things that we are going to be focusing on. The program will last 6 weeks. We're going to spend 1 week in Madrid, and then the remaining will be in Barcelona. And on both cities, you know, there's going to be lectures, going to be visits, going to be guest speakers. We're going to try to take advantage of the cities that we're going to be in as much as possible, you know. And since we are going to have a lot of flexibility with access to the facilities of FC Barcelona, our plan is to bring as many people from that society into our classes. So if you're going to be talking about, for example, training and how the athletes prepare for games and everything, we're going to have somebody come into our sessions to talk about these kind of exercises, these kind of routines that they do with the players. Nutrition, we're going to have somebody as well. Then we might, I'll be touching on other issues, such as, for example, the role of mass media into sport in Spain. How they present the sports, how they follow them every weekend, from news and radio and internet and everything. Architecture, we're going to be dealing with architecture too, which is something that you might not see at first, but most of these big stadiums, they are basically work of art, which is the design and the way they've been built, which just represent the wealth of many of the cities. We will have weekly lessons, like I said, and those lessons, we might take those lessons on the road, basically, because we're going to be traveling around, mostly Barcelona, the area of Barcelona, outside of Barcelona. So we will take our lessons and our guests into the site visits that we're going to be doing. Other topics that I'll be including in my portion of the class, which is the sports culture in Spain, will be, for example, how regional, national identities play a role into the sport. Okay, because you might know that we're going to be in Barcelona, which is sort of it's been politically hot for the last 10, 15 years due to issues with nationalism and wanting to separate from Spain. So we're going to see how that translates into sports in general in other regions in Spain as well. Then we will focus also on how many clubs, how many of these programs they try to recruit and lure players to be playing for them, not just foreigners, but also national players, and how they contribute to Spain, winning the Euro Cup and winning the World Cup and everything. So basically, these cultural cores would be an overview of what the importance of sport in general, and the word sport is quite general and quite comprehensive in that sense. The role of sport in Spanish society in general, politically, economically, healthy habits, architecturally speaking, and many other things that I plan on developing on this session.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Abel. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So yeah, applications for both of these programs that we've just discussed, they're open now. They open November 15th and they close February 10th. We will talk about that a little bit more in a couple of slides, but if they sound interesting to you, then feel free to open an application. Just another point as we move forward, there's the Carolina Blue Fellowship that I wanted to mention. Applications are due December 1st, so that's coming up. So if you are looking for a little bit of extra funding while you are looking for your study abroad experience, please don't hesitate to look into this. So just a little bit about some featured programs. Obviously, we've just talked about 2 faculty-led programs that I think are going to be really, really great opportunities over the summer. But there are some other featured summer programs that I did just want to briefly mention where you can potentially earn exercise sports science credit while you are abroad. So in Europe, DIS Summer in Copenhagen, I think is a really good option. And then when you're looking at Cyprus, the University of Nicosia could also be another option for you, and with summer in Cyprus. Both of these programs can and will provide content and coursework that is relevant for exercise sports science majors. In terms of semester programs, there's a little bit more that we can offer you. So for Europe, again, we've got Denmark with the University of Copenhagen. For Oceania, we have quite a few options as well. And then for the United Kingdom, which is actually the region I advise for UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand. We've got 2 universities in particular that are quite good, which are the University of Aberdeen and the University of Glasgow. So if you wanted to talk about any of these programs more in depth, please just reach out to the appropriate advisor. As I mentioned, I would be the one to talk to for Oceania and United Kingdom and Ireland. And for Denmark, you'd be meeting with Derek Shepard. So feel free to reach out. Just a little bit about academics and credit now as we move forward. So while you're abroad, I know that some of this seems like common sense, but I do just want to talk about it really briefly. you could really earn pretty much any type of credit. So some of the classes we've been talking about, such as the 2 faculty-led programs, those would be UNC graded credit, which means they would be EXSS UNC credits, just like taking a course here at UNC, except you're a couple thousand miles away. But you do also have the opportunity to earn other credits while you're abroad. As an example, you can earn elective credit, you can earn general education credit. Every single program for study abroad will earn you EE credit. And yes, of course, it is possible for you to earn minor, major, and language credit as well. Something super, super important for you is to meet with your academic advisor before you decide you want to go abroad. It's really great to just kind of lay out the map of your next couple of semesters, your next couple of summers, just to make sure that you're in a good place for study abroad and that the courses you intend to take put you on a path to succeed and we're not delaying any graduation. I would say for the most part, graduation either keeps you right on pace or springs you forward. Very, very rarely do I see a case where study abroad will set you back. So that's the good news. But just to confirm that, we do want you to meet with your academic advisor. In terms of figuring out, hey, where should I go? I want to know what the best universities are for getting this gen ed or this major credit. We actually have a database on our website with pre-approved courses. Now, I will tell you this database is only about a year old, so it's not super, super robust. However, we've got off to a really good start there. There's hundreds and hundreds of pre-approvals. So please do go through that. There will be EXSS pre-approvals, there will be gen ed, there will be a variety. Pretty much every subject has pre-approvals. But the most important thing here is please don't let it be disconcerting if you are not able to find exactly what you're looking for. That does not indicate that the program you're selecting is not a good fit. In many cases, we are just still building up this database. So please know that before you go, you will have the opportunity to submit coursework for review, whether that's exercise sports science coursework or ROMS coursework or economics coursework. You will have the opportunity to submit that for review. It will get sent to the appropriate department and they will be able to make a decision and provide feedback on the type of credit you can expect to earn on those classes. So again, use the pre-approved database. If courses aren't there, you'll be able to submit them for review before you actually go on your program. This bottom link here is really wonderful. Please do visit our Academics Abroad link on our website for more information and more tools on how to figure all of that out. It lays out some really good instructions. All right, everyone's least favorite part. Yes, these programs do cost money. And yes, I absolutely realize that that can be a barrier for you. So I'm here to completely just acknowledge that, be open about it, but also say there are ways to mitigate the cost. And that's kind of why I'm here. So first of all, financial aid and scholarships will be available. Now, for semester programs, any scholarships and aid you typically get will go with you. In addition to that, you will have the opportunity to apply for additional financial aid and scholarships. For summer programs, your traditional semester aid will not typically go with you. However, please do know that there are scholarship and financial aid opportunities available to you that are unique to summer. And I will absolutely share with you on our website resources that basically will help you apply for those. Some of those opportunities are internal, some of them are external, and our website does a great job of laying those out for you. And finally, Sharon Beers, she's fantastic. She is our Assistant Director for Financial Aid. She is always available for you, so please don't hesitate to reach out to her and provide the basic information that I've laid out here on the slide. She'll be happy to provide an estimate if you provide some really basic information. She can really kind of help you. The one important thing to know, though, is if you are looking for scholarships and aid through our office, it is pretty critical that you have a FAFSA on file. So if you don't have a FAFSA on file, please do fill one out for this current academic year. All right. So how can you apply for these programs? It's pretty straightforward. And honestly, if you've gotten to the point where you were able to find out about this information session and actually access it via Zoom, I bet you already know most of this or all of this, but I'll briefly just go through this anyway, just to kind of do it because we're doing a presentation. So first of all, attend a Study Abroad 101 or just check out some of the videos we've got online. We've broken them down into pieces so you don't have to sit there for 30 minutes at a time. They're very easily digestible, 1 minute here, 3 minutes here. So have a look. I think they're really useful. Next, just do some programmatic research. We've gone through a couple of programs here, but honestly, our website is really great. And I'll talk about that in a couple of slides, how to do program searches, but doing some research isn't as overwhelming as you might think. Next, you'd want to meet with an academic or with a study abroad advisor. There are 3 of us. I'm one of them. We also have Caitlin Brown Gomez Meisenheimer, and then we also have Derek Shepard. We've basically split the world into thirds. So if you want to meet with for UK, Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Greece, I'm your man. And then the other advisors, their areas are listed online. And never hesitate to reach out to all 3 of us either. I think some students are always like, but I kind of have interest in all of these regions. That's okay. Meet with us and figure out which one is your top priority after that. Next, you'll complete an application. After that, you'll potentially submit a host institution application. We'll talk a little bit more about that. That's something you need to do on some occasions. Sometimes you don't. Next, you'll sign your study abroad contract. And then finally, you'll have a pre-departure orientation. So what's on an application for you? Just a couple of things. For programs led by UNC, as an example, Abel's program, this will just be one single application. It's entirely in healsabroad.unc.edu. You just need to fill out that application. However, there are some different programs where you actually do need to submit 2 applications, and your advisor will absolutely walk through that with you. So partner programs is that example. In the event of you applying to a partner program, and again, we will tell you if you are applying to a partner program, we'll make that abundantly clear. Your first step is to submit a healsabroad.unc.edu application. And then your second step after you're formally approved will be to submit an application directly to the host institution. In terms of what the applications require, it's gotten a lot easier over the years. We've removed letters of recommendation because we understood how much of a burden they could be for students who may not know their faculty very well, and also for faculty who are getting inundated with requests. So we've removed those as a barrier, but we do require a couple of things, namely a transcript, a $50 application fee, short answer questions, and disclaimers and waivers. In terms of cycles, we are actually right at the beginning of an application cycle right now. So for summer, fall, and academic year programs, so if you're thinking about going on next summer, for instance, applications are actually open. They open November 15th and they'll close on February 10th. And then for your spring and calendar year cycle, they will open over the summer. They'll likely open on July 1st and they'll close on September 10th. So 2 big cycles. And right now you are in the cycle for next summer, fall, and academic year. Couple of things to keep in mind as you move forward. You can only apply to 1 program at a time. However, if for some reason you are not admitted to your first choice program, we will immediately start working with you to find a backup program if you're interested in doing so. Something else that we'll let you know, if a program is competitive, we will for sure let you know early on in the event that you are not admitted. We want to have you be prepared. I would say most programs, if you meet the minimum academic requirements, are not competitive. However, some programs, especially faculty-led programs, can be competitive. So we'll be sure to be upfront about that and let you know that, hey, maybe you'll want to have a backup just in case. So now I'm going to tell you just about 2 things, basically the front end and the back end. Studyabroad.unc.edu. This is the front end of our operation, so to speak. So when you go to studyabroad.unc.edu, it is the main site for all things study abroad. It is our forward-facing content. So you can find some really good resources. You can find information on advising, scholarships, all of that fun stuff. So if you're looking for any of the information listed on this slide, studyabroad.unc.edu will be the place for you. However, if you're looking to get into, actually looking for that program, actually using our database to figure out the best program for you, you'll want to use our backend, which is healsabroad.unc.edu. So again, study abroad, that's the front end. Heals abroad, that'll be the backend where you're actually doing programmatic searches. I'm going to show you something when I go to this next slide here. Right here, this is an example of doing a program search. So when you go to healsabroad.unc.edu, you might be like, there are so many programs. Where the heck am I supposed to start? Honestly, go to programs and do a search. And the best advice I can give you when you are running a program search is to use the advanced search function. So if you look at the very top, you'll see that there's a couple different kinds of searches. Advanced searches allows you to be really specific. For instance, if you only want to do programs in Spain, you can click on Spain and then all of our Spain programs will come up. If you only want to do a program in the fall semester, search for that. If you only want to do a program where I am the advisor for UK, Ireland, Oceania, you can search that. You can search by GPA requirements, a wide variety of things. So advanced search will likely be the way to go if you are looking to specifically do a program search. Sorry, I'm just going to kick these lights back on. All right, there we go. All right, and we are nearing the finish here, so thank you for hanging on. Just a couple more things. Health and safety. I just wanted to openly acknowledge that COVID-19 is still a thing, and I think it will likely be a thing that impacts study abroad for quite a while. And that's not to say that it is going to lead to us canceling most of our programs. I do not in any way think that that will be the case. However, I think social distancing will be a thing. I think masks will be a thing. And I think you'll really need to be aware of local rules and regulations when you are studying abroad as well. So I just wanted to let you know that we will do everything in our power to prepare you for the specific sites that you are going to make sure you are safe, you are prepared, and that you are ready to follow the local rules, laws, and guidelines when you do go on your study abroad program. I also wanted to let you know that we will, for every single cycle that we have, we go through a formal review process that goes all the way to the top of UNC. So if you or your parents or guardians are saying, hey, is this program safe? Who the heck decided to run this program? Please rest assured that there is a very comprehensive review process for each of our cycles. Summer of 2022, that review will occur in January, and we are very confident that every program that we're putting forward will be approved. But we will be in touch about that in January. As we move forward, as you consider your study abroad options, or maybe you're looking to see what other study abroad students are up to while they're abroad now, because we do have a lot of takeovers, which is really, really fun. Please don't hesitate to stay in touch via social media. We've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, we've got all of it. So there's a lot of good information on there. It's a good way to stay up with some of our events. And again, like I said, a great way to just get a day in the life of a student who's currently abroad. I know a number of my students in the UK have had takeovers this semester, and it's been really, really great to see for our office. So please don't hesitate to follow us on social media. All right. So I know I kind of ran through that quickly. So I am absolutely here to answer any questions you have about exercise sports science credits abroad, or maybe just more generally study abroad questions as well. If I can't answer them right now, I promise I will do some research to get the best answer for you. And I also do see that Abel has stayed behind if you'd like to ask any specific questions about his program in Spain. So now I'd really just like to open. Please feel free to unmute yourself to ask any questions, or if you're more comfortable, you can, of course, put them in the chat as well. All right, so we've got one question here, and the question is, what does housing look like for faculty-led programs? I can speak to the program in London, and then I might let Abel speak to the program in Spain. But generally, for faculty-led programs in general, you will stay with the other UNC students that you are with on the program. For the International Sport Management in London program, you'll be staying in the Bloomsbury region. I've actually been into the housing that you would be staying in. In most cases, you will have you'll have 2 or 3 people per room in a shared flat or apartment. So picture 2 or 3 rooms with a common area, and each of those rooms has 2 or 3 people in them. I will say though that they are a lot bigger than UNC rooms with doubles and triples. So they are very nice apartments, and the locations themselves are really, really great as well. Abel, would you like to speak to Spain at all?
Well, we're trying to finalize still that area. But my understanding was that it's going to be something similar to what you described in the program in London. Students living together, some sort of residence, not exactly a dorm, but something similar to that. I I don't think it's going to be a homestay. You know, they're going to be. I don't think the students going to be living with a family. I think it's more like like I said, like a residence. Everybody sort of living together, but nothing concrete it's been decided yet.
Great, thank you for that, and thanks, Haley, for the question. Any other questions before we wrap up? Okay, well, as Dr. Malakoff mentioned, his information is on the website. Abel's information is also on the website. Abel, thank you so much for being here today to share information on your program. I really do appreciate it.
My pleasure, anytime.
Yeah, and to the students that are currently here, we really appreciate you being here as well. So have a good one. Also to note, on our website, we have recorded this session and we will be posting this online. So if you're looking for a recording, please reach out to me directly, or if you can go on our Study Abroad Week website and also find the downloaded version there. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.